Motorcycle balancing is an art that has been passed down from rider to rider over the years, but it's a skill that seems to have faded into the background as modern technology has taken over the world of motorcycling. Today, we're going to talk about the lost art of motorcycle balancing, a skill that's no longer discussed in the mainstream, but one that holds a deeper connection between rider and machine. Whether you're a seasoned rider or just getting started, understanding the intricacies of balance can make a world of difference when you're on two wheels. What is motorcycle balance? Motorcycle balance isn't just about keeping the bike upright at a standstill. It's about control, finesse, and understanding the relationship between you and the machine. In the world of motorcycles, the term balance often refers to the rider's ability to control the bike's center of gravity, both when it's moving and when it's stationary. But this skill, which once required practice and skill, is now often overshadowed by advanced technologies, such as anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic balance aids. The history of motorcycle balance. Before we dive deep into the mechanics of balance, let's first look back at a time when motorcycle balance was a fundamental part of riding. There was a time when motorcycle riders had to rely solely on their own skills to keep the bike stable, especially when they were maneuvering at low speeds or handling tricky terrain. Back then, a rider had to feel every shift in the bike's weight distribution and learn how to use their body to counteract those movements. Slow speed maneuvers. Imagine a time when you had to perform slow speed maneuvers, like riding through tight spaces or making tight turns without the help of a modern clutch or brake assist. It's a test of coordination, precision, and confidence. The art of balancing your motorcycle at low speeds was essential, and it was something every rider had to master in order to stay safe and avoid costly mistakes. The core component. One of the core components of motorcycle balance is understanding the center of gravity. When you're riding a bike, everything revolves around maintaining that center of gravity, which is the point where the bike's mass is evenly distributed. A motorcycle's balance is heavily influenced by the rider's ability to position their body correctly, and more importantly, the way they distribute their weight between the bike's front and rear axles. The rider's role. In the early days of motorcycling, riders didn't have the luxury of fancy suspension systems and other high-tech features that we now take for granted. Instead, they relied on their own skill and balance to ride safely. When a rider shifted their body weight, they had to be in tune with how the bike responded. A slight change in position could make the difference between staying upright or toppling over. The lost art. This connection between rider and machine is at the heart of the lost art of motorcycle balancing. It's a skill that goes beyond simply staying upright. It's about becoming one with the bike. It's about anticipating how the bike will respond to every movement, every throttle input, and every shift in your body weight. And for many riders, this skill was perfected over years of experience and constant practice. Modern technology, but as motorcycles became more advanced, the need for riders to master the art of balance began to fade. With the advent of automatic stabilizing systems, bikes began to take over the responsibility of keeping the rider upright. These systems work by automatically adjusting throttle input, brake pressure, and suspension settings to prevent the bike from tipping over at low speeds or in difficult conditions. The cost of convenience. In many ways, this technological advancement has made motorcycling easier and safer. Riders no longer need to worry as much about falling over in parking lots or during tight turns. However, this convenience has come at the cost of losing an essential aspect of the motorcycle riding experience. The skill of balancing a motorcycle at low speeds or in tricky conditions is no longer as emphasized as it once was. And many riders may not even realize that they've lost the ability to balance a motorcycle the old-fashioned way. Rediscovering the lost art of motorcycle balancing. This doesn't mean that the modern motorcycle isn't still capable of performing incredible feats of balance. It just means that the rider doesn't always have to be fully involved in the process. While some may argue that this makes riding easier and more enjoyable, there's something special about the old-school approach to balance that's worth rediscovering. There's a certain beauty in the way a rider and their bike work together in harmony, relying on instinct, skill, and practice to navigate even the most difficult of situations. Reconnecting with the basics. So, how can riders reconnect with this lost art of motorcycle balancing? The first step is to go back to the basics. Forget about the high-tech gadgets and systems for a moment. It's time to remember the fundamental principles of balance that were once essential to every rider's skill set. Practicing slow-speed maneuvers. Start by practicing slow-speed maneuvers. Find a quiet, open space where you can practice riding in circles, figure eights, and tight turns. Focus on how your body moves in response to the bike. Shift your weight, adjust your posture, and feel how the bike responds. This might feel strange at first, especially if you're used to relying on modern aids. But the more you practice, the more natural it will become. Mastering body position and weight distribution. Pay attention to your body position. In order to maintain balance, it's crucial to keep your center of gravity aligned with the bike. When making turns, try to lean with the bike, using your body to counterbalance any shifts in weight. Focus on how the throttle, brakes, and clutch work in harmony with your body movements. As you get more comfortable with these basic movements, you'll start to feel a deeper connection with your bike, almost as if you and the machine are one. The feathering technique, another key element of motorcycle balance, is mastering the art of the feathering technique. Feathering the throttle means making small, controlled adjustments to the throttle to maintain a steady speed and avoid jerky movements. At low speeds, this is especially important because the slightest movement of the throttle can cause the bike to tip over. Practice feathering the throttle while maintaining a steady speed, and you'll soon find that you have much better control over the bike in tight situations. Practicing in challenging conditions. But it's not just about slow-speed maneuvers. It's also important to practice balancing your bike when you're on uneven terrain or in challenging conditions. In the past, riders had to be able to navigate through gravel, dirt, or sand without the aid of fancy suspension systems or electronic stabilizers. It's a test of both the rider's skill and their ability to read the terrain. Modern riders can learn a lot from practicing these techniques in challenging environments. Why the lost art of motorcycle balancing matters. At the end of the day, the lost art of motorcycle balancing is all about returning to the roots of motorcycling. It's about rediscovering the raw connection between rider and machine, learning to trust your instincts and honing your skills through practice and repetition. While modern motorcycles may not require the same level of balance skills as older models, there's something incredibly satisfying about being able to ride with complete control and precision without relying on technology to do the heavy lifting. So the next time you get on your bike, remember that balance is more than just a skill, it's an art. And while technology may make it easier to stay upright, there's no substitute for the feeling of mastering that perfect, fluid balance between rider and machine. It's a connection that transcends the mechanics of the bike and becomes something deeper, something that, once learned, stays with you for a lifetime. And that's why the lost art of motorcycle balancing is worth bringing back